and the not he was an unattractive drunk, and you winced when he acted boorishly or worse toward other people. You wanted to climb under the table.
After 4 decades of abuse, Mantle realized he had hit bottom. In 1994, he finally reached out for help after admiring the courage of a close friend and a member of his family.
I'd been drinking 17 years at this point, and so I took the initiative and checked myself into Betty Ford's. I didn't even tell anybody in my family that I was going. He was scared to death. He didn't want to admit he was an alcoholic. Nobody does.
After I got back to Betty Ford Center, he started asking me questions about what it was like. And I knew eventually he was going to say to me, can you get me in? And that ultimately is what he said.
You could see Mantle's whole life on his face.
Mantle left the Betty Ford Clinic with a vow to stay sober. But his will was promptly tested when his son Billy, who had battled both Hodgkin's and drug abuse, died of a heart attack at 36. Soon after, Mantle went public with his guilt, his shame, and his lost opportunity.
Because he was a public figure in a different way than the kind of cheap celebrity that's everywhere, he perceived some responsibility to tell his story.
I had to write my dad, who's been dead since 1951, I had to write him a letter, things that I didn't do for him. I wasn't there for my kids like my dad was for me. And you talk about something that's hard to do, that's really hard. But I need to tell him I love him.
It's tough to face. What do you have in life, ultimately? It's your family.
He said once he wrote that letter to his dad, it made it easier for him to express himself to us.
When you got to Betty Ford Clinic, you received more letters than anyone who's ever been.
I really didn't realize until I started getting those letters what I did mean to some people.
Let's hope you've got a lot of years left to continue to write chapters in your life. What do you hope for?
I hope the people at the end will say, he turned out all right. I'm proud that I named my son Mickey. That would be nice.
That was the beginning of his life, really.
After his public acknowledgement, Mickey Mantle was at peace, for perhaps the first time in his life. Over the next 18 months, he embraced sobriety and became a better, happier man than he'd ever been. He proved he could overcome drinking, but in the end, not the abuse on his body the drinking had caused. Mickey was sick, in need of a new liver, and after just 2 days of waiting, one was found.
His liver tests were getting worse, and if he hadn't gotten transplanted when he did, he wouldn't have lasted another week.
Mickey Mantle went into surgery about 4:30 this morning local time. The liver transplant operation is expected to last 4 to 6 hours.
Once the surgery was over, the whole question that we had anticipated, did you pass other patients to do him? Why did he get one so quickly?
There are a lot of people out there who absolutely believe to this day, no matter what facts they hear, they believe that Mickey Mantle got preferential treatment. But I am here to tell you that I was there and I know that he didn't. The donor's information was input into the computer, blood group, body size, that sort of thing. And when the list popped out, Mickey Mantle's name was first.
As soon as he was physically able, Mickey Mantle was moved to make a public plea as memorable as any of his mammoth home runs.
There is a sense of tragedy, a beat-up, wan Mickey Mantle. But he wanted to send a message.
I would like to say to the kids out there to take a good, you talk about a role model, this is a role model, don't be like me, you know? I mean, God gave me a body, ability to play baseball, and that's what I wanted to do. It was just wasted. I was given so much. My blood.
The famous line that he always used always had half truth in it. It started out as a joke, but he said if you'd have known he was going to live that long, you'd have taken better care of himself.
He says, I did things wrong, and he says, I made mistakes. Don't live like I did.
He wanted people to know that he woke up and saw the mistake he made. and that wasn't any way to live your life. As a son, it was just very uplifting.
I want to start giving something back. It seems to me like all I've done is just take.
He had the heart of a lion. He was so brave that it just made you thrilled to just know him.
I think that took more courage than anything. It was a great message to the kids.
In my mind, he's as strong in a batter's box and as sturdy of leg as he's ever been in his life. And he faced it with more strength and more courage than he may have even thought that he had himself.
It was his greatest hour. It was his greatest message. Because that had some effect on people.
It's Mantle, it's the Mick, and he's on TV telling millions of people, I helped myself too little too late. But what he did do was help thousands, if not millions of other people think twice about letting their lives get out of control.
Intent on making amends for a life he felt he'd thrown away, Mantle started a foundation to raise awareness of the importance of organ donation. Its impact was immediate, as donations increased across the country. Mantle looked forward to witnessing the creation of a new legacy, a heroism he could understand, saving lives. But it wasn't to be. During his liver transplant, doctors had found cancer. At first, they believed it was treatable, but within a month, they realized they faced an unusually aggressive strain.
Hi, this is Mick. About 2 weeks ago, the doctors found a couple of spots of cancer in my lungs. I'm hoping to get back to feeling as good as I did when I first left here, about 6 weeks ago. I'd like to again thank everyone for all your thoughts and prayers. You've been great. And if you'd like to do something really great, be a donor.
I told him that this was a problem that we didn't have a cure for.
Well, we were floored. They basically said, there's no hope.
I wrote him a letter and told him pretty much how I felt and what he meant to me all those years. He knew that I loved him. I wanted everything to be okay with us before he died.
We had time to tell him we loved him, and a lot of people don't get that chance to tell someone they love that they love them.
After the Mantle family's tearful goodbye, Mickey's sons reached out to their father's baseball family, the friends who Mickey loved, whose respect meant so much, his old Yankee teammates. On the eve of his death, August 13th, 1995, they rushed to Dallas to say goodbye to their friend, Mickey Mantle, a great teammate who mattered to them as much as he did to an entire generation.
When we hugged each other, we grabbed our hands, and he says, I love you guys. I love you both. And we said, we love you too.
Today is a sad day for the Yankee family and Yankee fans everywhere. Today we have lost one of our own, one of the greatest ball players in the history of baseball. Please join now in a few moments of silent prayer as we all remember Mickey Mantle.
Every boy builds a shrine to some baseball hero. And before that shrine, a candle always burns. For a huge portion of my generation, Mickey Mantle was that baseball hero.
I felt that my childhood had finally ended, and I was in my 40s.
It's been said that the truth is never pure and rarely simple.
He was that humble kid that dealt with struggles. And then in the end, took another one deep. Died a hero.
The emotional truths of childhood have a power that transcend objective fact. They stay with us through all the years.
They say you never forget your first love. There's a part of him that you carry with you your whole life. It doesn't ever go away.
None of us, Mickey included, would want to be held to account for every moment of our lives. But how many of us can say that our best moments were as magnificent as his?
His mystique and his aura is a legacy that'll never die. It'll go on forever and ever and ever.
I just hope God has a place for him where he can run again and smile that boyish smile. God knows no one's perfect. God knows there's something special about heroes.
This has been a presentation of HBO Sports.